Now, a warning to parents. There is a disturbing new trend among teens.
4 hours a day on Facebook and other social media sites.
And just yesterday, an emergency press conference at LA's Children's Hospital was called.
Say they will. So does this so-called Generation Z have unrealistic expectations? He asked naively.
They're teens, some call them thugs. They've invaded and taken over this gas
station. Our survey revealed 70% of today's teens cheat, and they're using their cell phones to do it.
Destroying my store, destroying my business.
My solution is shut it down. I wouldn't care.
For those who complain, I do not necessarily think the problem lies within the generation. I think the issue is generalizing. Not every teen is a grade A troublemaker, and that's the problem. Society allows the bad to outweigh the good. But we are not all bad, we are not all lazy, and we are not all that different from those before us. This is our generation.
I think our generation is very open-minded about things. I don't think necessarily what we wear, how we act, defines who we are friends with. I think in that sense we're kind of straying a little bit away from what other generations have done in the past. I feel like the way you dress defined who you were friends with and what clique you were a part of. I'm sure cliques still exist today, but not necessarily in the way that old movies like Grease kind of, I don't know, just displayed things. But I think, overall everyone can act a little, I don't know, outlandish sometimes, very, just how our generation is. But I think we're a good group of kids. I think they think we're very lazy, kind of crude, more unrefined, I guess is a better word. I feel like they don't think of us. They think less of us than they think of themselves. They think that because we rely on technology and stuff like that, I think that's what they kind of feel about us.
I really admire your generation. Like every group of young kids, you have a lot of similarities to my generation, but you do have some differences that can't be ignored. The fact that you have to be technology savvy, the fact that you have to balance a very demanding high school schedule, balance that with community service, sports, family time. It's amazing that you can do it all. I think you're under a lot of pressure. I'd like to see you have some more kid time. That balancing act is a difficult one. You're impressive. I went to a lecture many years ago, and the presenter there described what the young generation was like. They used the word lazy, not hardworking, disrespectful, and they were talking about kids 3, 4, or 5 generations ago, and sometimes those same adjectives could be used for what our generation might think of your generation. So I just think life is cyclical. The older generation thinks that the younger ones might not be as hardworking. However, as Cyrita said earlier, if you're involved with your kids and they're active in the school, community service, sports, you know that they're working really hard, and that they're just trying to blend some of their fun time with all their responsibilities, like my generation did back then and the future generation will do. Life is cyclical.
I think that older generations don't really have that much trust in us, but it's really confusing because part of them does really trust us, but part of them think that we're generally bad kids and we all do drugs and alcohol, but we don't. But I think that they also see us as very smart people.
They're very intelligent. Very sociable. Easy to know.
Every generation has its slackers and successors, its racket called music and inappropriate dancing. Once upon a time, being able to see a woman's ankles meant her dress was too revealing, and wearing a leather jacket made you a rebel. Cultural differences between teenagers and their parents have existed for decades. I mean, we all know that when our parents are yelling at us, or scolding us, or grounding us, we think, I am never going to treat my kid like this. But you would be lying to yourself if you actually believe that. Of course you will treat your kid like that, because their generation will be different than ours. And that is where the barrier lies. The backlash against new generations is always going to be there. And it's because of that change. We all fear it, and so we all reject it. In the end, it's really just one big cycle. So, what do I think of our generation? I think we are many things.
You're impressive.
Technologically dependent.
Very open-minded.
Freedom of expression. Free. Fun.
But we are also clueless. We have grown up in a society where the cold, harsh reality of life has been hidden from us, and we are constantly told how it will be a wake-up call when we have to face it. We have been babied and sheltered. It has ensured we will make mistakes. We'll be more hasty and outspoken. It has made us overly confident, made us push boundaries and take risks. We think with our hearts before we think with our heads. We are not perfect. We are a bunch of misfit kids living in a fantasy land thinking they can change the world. We are young-hearted and we are naive. But that also means we hope more. We believe more. We truly are the Peter Pan generation who will never grow up. We are eternal. We are immortal. We are forever. And that is why we will make the difference. This is our generation.